going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal SpazPhoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here, back again with another episode of Road Signs. This one's going to be kind of a toss-away video. This one's going to be a little bit... I'm mostly going to be talking about rumors that I've heard, plus one match we've got tossed onto the mid-card of WrestleMania, but, not much. I mean, just going into WrestleMania this week was, I guess, more of the same. I mean, we had the one big talking point on Raw, which I will get to, but the rest of it has been all, not so much on the developmental end of it, it's been more on the, you know, internet speculations, rumors, you know, what people think should happen at WrestleMania type thing. So let's go on ahead and get out of the way the one match that we do have added to the card now, the first mid-card match announced for WrestleMania. And a lot of people say that Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio is a mid-card match, but it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. So for the purposes of, you know, me talking about stuff, I have to consider that as one of the four main events. The first mid-card match we have announced is Ryback, Orton, and Sheamus versus The Shield. Now, I was really... You know, as much as I come up here and I talk shit about spoilers, whatever, I did read the spoilers for SmackDown this week on Tuesday. Didn't want to do this video because I know there's a lot of people out there, like me, who don't like getting spoilers, so I figured, okay, you know, I'll let SmackDown pass before I start talking about this, because even if I say, hey guys, spoilers, I'm going to talk about SmackDown for a second, some people might still get upset. And I don't want to do that, because you guys are awesome and make me part of your YouTube day, so to speak. But, Ryback versus Orton, it's just, Ryback and Mark Henry had a thing going, and while I wouldn't have personally been interested in it necessarily because I don't give a crap about Mark Henry or Ryback, it is one of the classic wrestling stories. Now, I'm not about to sit up here and give you a little bit of Wrestling 101, but some of the classic wrestling stories out there are, you know, giant versus giant, student versus teacher, you know, a tag team breaks up and faces each other, you know, got the whole, you know, David and Goliath, there's all kinds of repetitive stories that never really get old. So at least on that note, you would have had the big guy versus big guy, you know, the Godzilla versus King Kong type match. It would have been a hell of a lot better than Kane versus Khali a couple of years ago, wouldn't it? But I would have been able to forgive it because at least they had started putting a bit of a build together for it. Now, that was just wasted on a 2-second spot on SmackDown to build up to another 3-on-3 match. Here's another big problem I have with this. We've just had these constant 3-on-3 matches with the Shield, and it just seems to be, okay, like, throw us some more people this month, throw us some more people this month, when one-on-one these guys could be doing great things, especially when you see, like me, watching NXT, etc., and you see somebody like Seth Rollins and what he was able to do in a one-on-one capacity. But anyway, Randy Orton, and here's where I go, here's where my bias is going to kick in, and I'm a Randy Orton fan. Randy Orton, for the longest time now, has deserved something better than what he's been getting. Granted, what he's been doing has been great. He's been putting over the guys in the mid-card on SmackDown, which helps the future of the business, but I mean, friggin', I just watched it a couple days ago. This is the guy that used to be head-to-head with John Cena, who's the face of the company, right? He's made everybody he's been in the ring with the past little while look great, even if he's beaten a few of them along the way. He needs something better, or he deserves a better team than what he's got. I'll get to that in a second. It's just another Team Ryback, which makes sense in one sense, because Ryback was the one that really bore the brunt of the Shield when they first arrived in the WWE, so the rivalry has really been Shield versus Ryback. I mean, they've taken out Cena along the way, Rock along the way, Orton, Miz, etc., 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 etc. But it's always, you know, the pinpoint of the rivalry has always seemed to be Ryback, which is fine, and there's continuity there, and there's consistency there, and I can appreciate that. I can respect that. But this story that we have, you know, Ryback versus, Ryback and Team Hell No versus The Shield. Ryback, Cena, and Sheamus versus The Shield. Now it's Ryback, Sheamus, and Orton versus The Shield. It's just like, it's Team Ryback versus The Shield, which means everybody else is sort of interchangeable, which pays no respect to the tag team champions, to John Cena. Yes, I'm giving John Cena some credit for a second there. Doesn't give any credit to Sheamus, doesn't give any credit to Randy Orton. It's just, you know, they happen to be the ones that were plugged into the blank spot that night, and that really doesn't help anybody, does it? I said it before, I'm going to say it again because I'm repetitive, because I'm not perfect. We need to see the Shield in singles matches. Like I say, on NXT I was a big fan of Seth Rollins. The entire NXT Championship tournament was great, and the final match between him and Jinder Mahal for that title was fantastic. And as much as people want to mock me for that because it's, you know, in the YWC rulebook to mock Jinder Mahal, it was a great match. Go back and watch it, tell me I'm wrong. Oh yes. As I've admitted repeatedly, Roman Reigns didn't catch my eye at first, and since the whole Shield thing has developed, I've done a complete 180. I've admitted that I was wrong, or I've admitted that my opinion can be changed. Dean Ambrose, you know, didn't make the NXT stop. People sent me stuff. People sent me FCW stuff. People sent me stuff with him and Foley, him and Regal, etc., and turned me around on it completely. But here's the thing. Here's my problem, and, you know, I'm kind of tripping over my words, because, as usual, it's ridiculous o'clock in the morning, so I hope you guys will forgive me. But, I mean, you don't get to see any personality with any one of these guys if all they do are these gangland-style beatdowns and 3-on-3 tag matches. I mean, you get to see that they're a well-cohesive unit, and they pull that off remarkably. No question at all. But, I mean, wouldn't it be good to see them maybe get the tag team championships, maybe put one of the low-level mid-card titles on Roman Reigns and see how dominant he can be with it. You know, Roman Reigns versus Wade Barrett, even though they're both heels, could be a fantastic match. The last thing, we know WWE is a big fan of the big guys. Now, pulling Ryback away from Mark Henry means Mark Henry is going to be doing something else at WrestleMania. The fact that the Big Show was involved in the Shield story for about 5 seconds there, for about a cup of coffee, means he's going to be involved some other way at WrestleMania. Mark Henry and Big Show are going to do something at WrestleMania. Now that's going to be at least 2 more matches that me personally, and yes, I will say personally, there's going to be at least 2 more matches that I don't give a crap about at WrestleMania. Might as well bring back the Great Khali. Oh dear. Now, is it going to be good? Is it going to be, you know, whatever? Like I say, there's continuity with Ryback, at least. There's a story building there, and he really is the driving force. Sheamus, they really don't have anything else for, and you know they wanted him to be on the card, so it makes sense that way, I guess, for finding him something to do. And like I say, Randy Orton is sort of the master of making the younger guys look great in the WWE right now. Sheamus is going to, or sorry, the Shield rather, are going to go over in this, I gotta believe, and Randy Orton will have a big part in that, so at least at the end of the day I'll be able to give him that much credit. So are there things that make sense on one side? Yes. Are there things that I personally don't like about it? Yes. Are there things that I may like about it when it happens? Yes. Are there things that I might have done differently if it was me? Sure. So it's a mixed bag. It is a mixed bag, but at least, if I want to end it on a high note, at least they are starting to build the mid-card, and it is now a 5-card... Sorry, guys. Choking on my words, all that sort of fun shit. At least it's not a 4-card WrestleMania now. At least it's got 5 matches on it. So we'll say that much. Now, the one thing I want to touch on really quickly... Brock Lesnar accepted Triple H's challenge to fight at WrestleMania. They beat up the New Age Outlaws, which I thought was great. It made sense. Like I say once again, I mean, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar have gone after everybody else. As far as getting to Triple H, I mean, they've taken out Vince. Shane's nowhere to be seen, so that's not going to happen. They've insulted Stephanie, they've insulted Triple H's kids, they've broken Triple H's arm twice, they put Shawn Michaels' head through a window. They've beaten up the New Age Outlaws now, left them laying with seemingly no effort. The only other thing they could do is go dig up China and X-Pac and, you know, F5 for them too, but I don't think anybody would really care. I think people were more popped to see the New Age Outlaws back than they would be for X-Pac, and, you know, China's never going to see a WWE ring ever again, unfortunately. But the whole thing now is they accept as long as Triple H signs the contract, and then they get to announce the stipulations. So now everything's going wild. It's going to be a street fight, it's going to be a no holds barred, it's going to be a last man standing, an Iron Man, this, that, and the next thing. And the 2 main ones that seem to be sort of the front runners for, as far as speculation goes, is an MMA style match similar to what Ken Shamrock used to do, which could be good, but I really would rather just see these guys brawl. And the other option is Hell in the Cell. And I gotta say, as much as I like the Cell, and as much as these guys' personalities and how they're presented and whatever would suit the Cell, no. Not two Hell in a Cells back-to-back at WrestleMania with one same competitor. But I mean, with everything that went into Hell in a Cell last year, it's going to pale by comparison, and you're going to set yourself up for failure for that. My personal choice, make it a sort of a non-sanctioned New York street fight. Let these guys destroy each other. This will be the match that'll be full of blood because it's already happened once. I don't think you need to overthink or overbook this match because, as I've said in previous videos, all the slots and all the history and all the story are already there. Just put a promo package in front of it, tell them there's no rules, and let them go out there and kill each other, and you'll have one of your main events of the night. And I've said could be the sleeper main event of the night. Now we get into pure speculation. And if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do dirt sheet, fantasy booking, whatever you want to call it, all the, hey, this might happen at WrestleMania stuff, by all means, turn the video off right now, but I'm just having a bit of fun. One of the rumors is Chris Jericho versus Fandango. On the surface, it sounds really stupid. I will admit this. I will admit this wholeheartedly. I'm intrigued because Fandango, or the fellow that plays Fandango, whose name I can't remember at the moment, unfortunately, because I am not perfect, was really, really good on NXT. He was kind of a creepy guy, and he had that going for him, and he had a different sort of aura that he brought with him to the ring. Nothing, you know, super, you know, I'm saying give him the world title tomorrow, but he had an element there. And if you can establish your own personal element, that's a big thing as far as drawing people's attention and whatnot. So as far as what he can do in the ring once he gets into WWE, I'm really, really intrigued by that. And somebody like Chris Jericho, who when he comes back for a run, like a Randy Orton, makes everybody else look great, could be a huge shot in the arm for this guy, and a great way to introduce him to mainstream WWE television. Now, I will say one thing before I get into this particular potential match. People that say they don't like this false start stuff that he's doing, like he's not going to wrestle because nobody respects his name and nobody can pronounce it properly, and everybody, you know, he just doesn't like the way he's being announced and all that sort of thing. They think it's kind of lame. And you're entitled to that opinion. You really, really are. And on the one side, the side of me that wants to actually see him get in the ring and wrestle because I've seen him and I know he's good, is right there with you. The other side of it is it's brilliant because it's annoying and people are getting sick of it, but they're supposed to get sick of it. They're supposed to get pissed off at this guy because he's a heel and because he's trolling. And once again, I'm not comparing him to other great people that have trolled the audience in the past, like a Chris Jericho. But I mean, if he's ticking you off, if he's pissing you off, if I go on Twitter or Facebook or whatever else I choose to go on, and all these people are, you know, writing in big capital letters, the fucking Fandango shit is bullshit, he's doing his job. So there's two sides to that coin. But if you are one of those guys that says, you know, this is getting ridiculous, it's annoying, totally with you. Now, let me bring up another person. Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow, who is one of the indie darlings of the YWC, and after long consideration, I ended up agreeing with most people's assessment of Damien Sandow. I think he's great. But when he came in, he was doing the same sort of shtick with the whole, you're not worthy to face me, you know, WWE needs to find me some more appropriate competition, and he kept on pushing off his debut as well. And a lot of people loved that for the same reasons that I've mentioned. It's a great way to build heel heat, and it's a great way to piss everybody off, Where my question comes in is the people that loved when Damien Sandow did it, hated when Fandango did it. Yes, they're two separate guys, so you can have two separate opinions of two separate guys. It just makes me question a couple of things, because Fandango, to my knowledge, doesn't have the same indie following, and it's one of those things where a gimmick is a gimmick, and a gimmick is a good idea or a bad idea based on who you like, or based on whether or not the gimmick is actually good. Because there are certain guys in the WWE right now, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, etc. You could turn around and give them the stupidest storyline in the world tomorrow, and I would still watch them. A, because whatever they can do with it, or whatever good they can pull out of it, they probably would. And because no matter how stupid or how corny the gimmick or character is, the in-ring work is still going to be the same. If that makes sense. Anyways, with Jericho and Fandango, it'll be fun. It's not going to be a 5-star classic, I'll admit that. It's not going to steal the show, it's not going to be the match of the night by any stretch of the imagination. Although, I could be on the optimistic side. I could even be wrong about that. But I mean, there's the obvious dance story where Fandango is this ballroom dancer, and he's got this nameless, faceless woman that accompanies him to the rampway every week. And whereas Jericho did Dancing with the Stars, all that sort of thing. Now, if they wanted to go that route and wanted to make that the basis of the storyline, what would he do? He would lead up to WrestleMania, and he would refuse to face, say, R-Truth because he dances. He would refuse to face the Usos because they do the Sima Toi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Somebody please down in the box below. That would be great. But that sort of traditional tribal sort of dance that they do at the beginning of their matches, he could refuse to fight Tensai again. He could refuse to fight Brodus Clay because they do their sort of dancing thing. And that, because there's a lot of people, you know, whether it's a major thing or a minor thing in the WWE that revolve around dancing or fun stuff like that, it could be great. He could have, you know, we've had a lot of comebacks. You could have, you know, Too Cool or Rikishi come in and start doing their like breakdance thing, and Fandango could come out and mock them. The dance thing is a story that they could play up against multiple opponents as he leads up to WrestleMania, and for all we know, Jericho could come and call him out. They could have some lame sort of dance-off spot on Raw or SmackDown, and that could lead to a match at WrestleMania, at least in the pre-show. It would be a huge rub for Fandango, and if he proves himself at WrestleMania against somebody like Chris Jericho, it could be a great launching point for him to go farther. Now, I'm going to take another side note. Here's another announcement. Apparently, the YouTube pre-show for WrestleMania is going to be an hour long. Which means one of two things: an hour worth of matches that we don't give a crap about because they're going to be like, you know, Jobber A versus Jobber B, or, and this is the possibility that disturbs me a bit more, we're going to get good, decent matches that should have been on WrestleMania on the actual card on the pre-show, which I don't know, like Rhodes Scholars versus, you know, name off some other decent, like if they decided to do an extra tag team match, say Rhodes Scholars versus the Usos, for example, that's a classic tag, or not a classic, but that is a tag team match with a lot of potential. But there's no lead up to the tag team titles in that match. There's no real built-in story behind that match, so I could see WWE very easily sweeping a good match like that onto the pre-show, just trying to get, you know, whatever you want to call it, their media, their YouTube views up before the actual show. It's not a very good thing WWE's done, in my opinion. Once again, it's not a good thing WWE's really done for themselves there, because already WrestleMania is the longest show, the show with the most time to fill of the entire wrestling year. It's a full 4-hour show. Now, if you want to put an hour-long pre-show in front of that, you have to create a constant 5 hours of entertainment. That is a big strain to put on yourselves. Even a company as wide and with as much depth as the WWE, that's a heck of a hill to climb. No pun intended for JBL and all the great charity work that he's doing, climbing 7 summits for kids and all that. Moving on. Oh, dear God. I just talked about Rhodes Scholars. They should be in the tag team title picture, should they not? They should be fighting other good tag teams, at least. One of the rumors is that we are going to see Brodus Clay, Tensai, Cameron, and Naomi versus the Rhodes Scholars and the Bella Twins. First of all, who the hell voted the Bellas back onto the roster? They're going to come back and they're going to fix the division. Dear God. I have no words for that, for the ridiculousness of that statement. You might as well say Kelly's going to come back and fix the division. You might as well say, you know, Alicia Fox. Hey, Alex, there's a shot for you. You might as well say Alicia Fox is the savior of the women's division if you're going to do crap like that. But why? Why are the Bellas back? Why are we wasting Rhodes Scholars, who are an awesome team, even though WWE made the mistake of splitting them up and putting them back together? Why are we putting them in an 8-person intergender tag match that will lead to nothing? I see no point whatsoever in Tag Team Divas matches because there's no title to represent Tag Team Divas wrestling, because even the singles Divas division isn't important enough for us to pay any attention to the belt at this point, so why are they pushing tag teams? This is why the whole, you know, Sisters of Doom thing with Beth Phoenix and Natalya didn't work because as a female team, there's nothing to strive for. Lay Cool had nothing to strive for. They broke the women's title belt in half with all that ridiculous storyline, and it just fell dead. And then Michelle McCool left, and you know, it just doesn't make any sense. Brodus Clay and Tensai are entertaining. If they with the way WWE is pushing, you know, the child-friendly thing, I could see them being tag team champions. I will be okay with that if they eventually start pushing them as two big, strong, powerful monsters. They can be fun, they can come out and do the dance thing and whatever, but they have to turn around and show how dominant they can be in the ring. Think of somebody like a Rikishi. Rikishi is a perfect example. Great, fun-loving guy, did the whole dancing shtick with the shades and the hats and all that sort of thing, but there were times in his career where he was outright violent with the people that he was in the ring with. If Tensai and Brodus Clay start doing something like that, then I can buy it, but the whole thing with them doing the dancing and the sweet tea and the Funkasaurus and Cameron and Naomi and their cheerleaders, and it's all just... I know it's child-friendly. I know it's not aimed at my demographic. I know it's like family-friendly fun and all that sort of thing, but there's only so much of that that a wrestling product can take. And I think between that and the Bellas coming back to be arm candy for the Rhodes Scholars and all the other options, all the other things that the Rhodes Scholars could be doing, I really don't see this match doing anything for me as a fan, as a member of the audience, or anything for anybody else that's involved with it. Does that make sense? Sandow and Rhodes deserve better. For all the work they've done as a tag team, for all the shitting that I do on throwing together tag teams, Rhodes Scholars showed you how to do it right. There are other things that they could be doing. They could continue this ongoing thing that they have with the New Age Outlaws. New Age Outlaws, another thrown together tag team that showed the entire wrestling world that it can be done if done properly. They should have a tag team, Rhodes Scholars should have a tag team title shot. If it was me, again, one of those if it was up to me type of things, it would be either Team Hell No dissolving before WrestleMania and Rhodes Scholars and the New Age Outlaws going for the tag team championships, or friggin' Rhodes Scholars versus Hell No at WrestleMania for the tag team champions, or at least put them up against another decent team. Have a three-way between them and the Usos and Epico and Primo, something like that. And at the very, very, very least, give the Shield a tag team title shot. Come on. Ambrose and Rollins as your tag team championships would be beast, especially with the beast, Roman Reigns, standing behind them. Which leads me to the next match. And here's the thing, there's a lot of people that I like involved in this next match, but they're going about it all the wrong way. Again, I will say it till my voice is hoarse, which it already kind of is. This is only my opinion. Team Hell No versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. Now, there's a lot of teams in the division already. You got Rhodes Scholars, you got the Shield, you got the Usos, you got Epico and Primo, you've got Tensai and Brodus Clay, even though I don't really want to think about it that way. Why would we take another mashed up tag team? That's number one. Number two, Hell No should have dropped the tag team titles a long time ago, but that's a whole nother rant that I've already done before, so I'm not going to do it again. Number three, Ziggler has other things that he could be doing right now. He has a feud that he never finished with Chris Jericho. He's got an on-again, off-again feud with my boy The Miz, and oh yes, I said it, my boy The Miz. And he's got possibly cashing in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania that he could do against Alberto Del Rio or Jack Swagger. There's a lot of other things he needs to be doing. The last thing he needs to be doing is being saddled in another tag team, because I'm sorry, much as I like Big E Langston comes in, he's like the quiet, brooding muscle, he's the force guy, but if you put them and make them a solid tag team, it's just going to be Ziggler and Swagger all over again. You're going to have one guy and his sidekick, and one guy and his sidekick does not a tag team make. Big E Langston should come in and destroy people, and, I don't know, go for the U.S. title. Have Big E Langston... Okay, I know they're both heels once again, and Wrestling 101 says that's not a good idea, but, I mean, have Big E Langston versus Antonio Cesaro. Why not? Why not? And like I say, there's other matches that we've seen from Ziggler before that we know are good. So it was just like, if you want to give him a little filler match and then he just goes and cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, put him in there with guys like Kofi Kingston, put him in there with guys like Randy Orton, put him in there with guys like The Miz. And yes, I know people hate it when I bring up The Miz, but you've seen them. We've done it before. They can do it again. They have great matches. And he has the unfinished story with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho came back and never really got any revenge for Ziggler being the reason that he was kicked out of the WWE last time, did he? So there's a lot of other options they could have done with Ziggler instead of throwing him into a tag team division that does not need any more thrown together tag teams. He should be built as a singles guy. He should be having success as a singles guy, and he should be building towards the championships. And there's other teams waiting in the wings that every time you have fuck, I can speak, I swear. Every time you have two main stage guys come together as a team, it pushes all the legit teams down the ladder, and I do not like that. Let's talk about my buddy The Miz for a second. Now, I was, in the past couple episodes of Road Signs, speculating, you know, hey, he was going to go up against the Big Show, hey, he was going to go up against Antonio Cesaro again, which I know other people were getting sick of. Now, it looks like we're going to get something between The Miz and Wade Barrett, which could be good. It's kind of lame that they're playing up this whole, you know, I'm a better actor than you, because eventually in the back of somebody's head, they're like, wait a minute, wrestling is kind of like acting, so what are you guys trying to say there? But, I mean, with The Miz just turning face recently, Miz versus Barrett is a rival we really haven't seen before. WWE, in my opinion, needs to play up on this whole Ric Flair being The Miz's mentor thing, and I know that's not very popular. I understand that, and the like I say, the YWC elite that say nobody should use the figure 4 other than Ric Flair, Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart, Sting uses the sharpshooter and calls it the Scorpion Deathlock, an RKO is just a diamond cutter, need I go on, The Rock uses the sharpshooter, lots and lots of things, the bookend is the rock bottom. The Attitude Adjustment is just a really, really horribly executed Death Valley driver. So get over it, because you sound like you're just hating on The Miz for the sake of hating on The Miz, which just makes you sound a bit silly. A lot of things could come out of this. Obviously, a second Intercontinental title run for The Miz. There's always the possibility Ric Flair is, you know, the dirtiest player in the game. He could always turn his back on The Miz and represent whoever The Miz is going against, and there could be a big feud. That storytelling wise, there's a lot of things they could do with that. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to call it a night, because I'm really just rambling on and waffling, and I'm pretty sure half of you have already tuned out anyway. Punk and Undertaker, and the storyline development that happened on Raw this week. This week's Raw, or this past week's Raw, I should say, because it's friggin' Saturday night, almost Sunday now, was all about Paul Bearer and the passing of William Moody, who played Paul Bearer, for lack of a better term, and everybody's pissed off that CM Punk, or, you know, whatever, disrespected Paul Bearer. Now, I'm going to say this. People ask me my opinion. People bugging me about my opinion on Facebook, people, you know, arguing with me on Twitter, people that I talk to over Skype that I know through YouTube and whatever. Here is my 2 cents on it, and I'm not even going to linger on the point. Phil Brooks did not insult Mark Calloway's good friend William Moody. CM Punk insulted the character, The Undertaker's character manager, Paul Bearer. And that happens on TV every day of the fucking week. Get over it. That's all. Now, that being said, is it a great story? Are they being a little bit campy with bringing back the urn, and CM Punk has the urn leading into WrestleMania and all that sort of thing? I can see the puns in the next couple of weeks. I deserve to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I've earned it. Something like, it's great story. If you can pull your head out of your own ass and stop trying to be offended for something that's not really offensive, it's great storytelling. It really, really is. How dare you? You insulted my father. You know, your sins on my father will be avenged by the son and all that crap. It's great storytelling. Now they've got a reason to fight at WrestleMania. What was the reason to fight at WrestleMania before? CM Punk was pissed off that he wasn't the champion anymore, and he won a random fatal 4-way match on Raw. What kind of build is that? Everybody out there in the YWC that always complains about the build, now we have something... excuse me. Now we have something to sink our teeth into that's a little bit more than, oh, I won a fatal 4-way match, and now I'm going to get your streak. What I like about this, the CM Punk versus Undertaker match, is it doesn't need anything extra. And this is no shot at Shawn Michaels, this is no shot at Triple H. But this doesn't need to be a street fight. This doesn't need to be Hell in the Cell. This doesn't need to, you know, have any other stipulations on it. You know, CM Punk doesn't need to put his career on the line or any of that kind of crap. The match itself will be great. The match itself will be great. And everyone's like, well, you know, they had a match back in 2008 and it sucked, so this is gonna suck too. Okay, so they had a match that sucked 5 years ago. And based on that, you're going to tell me that you know unequivocally for a fact that their match is going to suck at WrestleMania? Well, I'm sure then that The Rock and John Cena are going to put on a 5-star classic. Oh, wait. No. Anyways, other than that, I really don't know what else to say. Hall of Fame hasn't had anything new happen in it in a couple weeks. We've still got Foley, Backlund, Bruno, Trish Stratus, and Donald Trump. I may or may not have spoken about Donald Trump, actually. Now, I will, in case I didn't before. I don't agree with there being a celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. And yes, I understand, for all the business-minded people out there in the YWC, and you know who you are, I get why there's a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. It brings the main stage eyes to the Hall of Fame ceremony. It gets them more ratings, etc., etc., etc. And that's all good, and that's all fine. And there are some celebrities that have legitimately contributed to the WWE, and I don't mind that whatsoever. You got your Mr. T's, you got your Aretha Franklins, and, you know, everything like that moving forward and stuff like that. I get it. I get why there is one. Me, personally, I don't think there needs to be one. I think the Wrestling Hall of Fame needs to be for wrestlers. And I know it's not the Hall of Fame of wrestling, it's the Hall of Fame of this wrestling company. But the same standard still applies. WWE, the second W still stands for something, even if they never dare speak it out loud. Now, that being said, and this being the world we live in, there is a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. And being that there is a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, if it's going to exist, I have no problem with Donald Trump going into it. Whatsoever. Co-hosted /supported WrestleMania 4 and 5, did the Battle of the Billionaires hair versus hair match at WrestleMania 23, I believe. If I'm wrong, somebody down there will correct me, I'm sure. Did that whole storyline where he bought Raw and then sold it back to Vince for twice the price or whatever the heck it was. I mean, granted, that started the whole trend of the guest GMs, and that was kind of garbage, and then we had the laptop GM, which ended up being Hornswoggle, and that was garbage. But, I mean, Donald Trump is a well-known face around the world. It brought some eyes to the company, at least for a short period of time. So, as I said, I'm going to say it one more time, I'm going to wrap it up. If there's going to be a celebrity wing in the Hall of Fame, I have no problem with Donald Trump going in it. Obviously, next year, one of the inductees is going to be Paul Bearer. Like that you can write that on the ballot for the 2014 Hall of Fame right now. And here's what I say: for my 2 cents, for whatever my 2 cents is worth, it's probably not even worth a penny. What we need next year, at the Hall of Fame ceremony 2014, if Paul Bearer is going to be inducted, he needs to be inducted by Mark Calloway, by Mark Jacobs, and by Mick Foley. The three of them need to induct Paul Bearer. Out of character, no kayfabe garbage. Three of them come out, say their bit, and there you go. But other than that, we have a little bit more development in the mid-card, which is nice. We've got our stacked main event scene already, and I've already spoken at length about all of those. If anybody didn't see, last week I did my rundown why I'm excited about the main events of WrestleMania. Delexman and Preston did a response talking about basically what I've talked about in this video here, about some of their speculations for the mid-card. Go check it out on Delexman's channel. It's DALYXMAN on YouTube. Just go check them out. They are great. They also do their Wrestling Paradise channel, which is just youtube.com/WrestlingParadise. So go check out that as well. I have talked for far too long now. It is well past midnight. Wow, you guys see me when I'm at my best. Always. Oh, no, 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 you really don't. Anyways, I'm going to stop now. I need to stop talking because I'm rambling. This is me stopping rambling. And there go the lights. Really? There we go. I've had enough. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep these conversations going. As always, tell me what you are thinking on the road to WrestleMania. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.